The most dangerous way to defeat an enemy is not with fists or weapons, but with mastery over yourself. Because when your mind is calm, disciplined, and clear, no attack from the outside can ever truly reach you. An enemy expects you to react with anger, fear, or ego. But when you respond with silence, focus, and control, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is where true power lives. Strength is not proven by how hard you strike your enemy, but by how effortlessly you stand firm when they try to shake your spirit, your purpose, and your belief in yourself. The quiet warrior wins battles before they begin, because discipline sharpens the mind, patience weakens the opponent, and silence creates fear where noise only creates chaos. Your greatest advantage over your enemies is not speed or force, but awareness, because the one who understands himself can see through every intention of others. When you stop reacting emotionally to those who wish you harm, you remove their control over you, and in that moment, the enemy begins to defeat himself. Do not waste your energy proving your strength to enemies. Save it for building your skill, because true mastery speaks without the need for explanation. An enemy feeds on your anger and distraction, but when you remain focused on growth, purpose, and self-discipline, you starve them without lifting a hand. The strongest defense is a calm mind, because confusion, panic, and ego are the real weapons your enemies hope you will use against yourself. Power is not loud, it is precise, and when your movements are guided by clarity instead of emotion, every step you take becomes a silent strike. The one who trains his mind daily becomes untouchable, because no enemy can defeat someone who has already conquered doubt, fear, and weakness within. Your enemies are not destroyed by your aggression, but by your consistency, because steady progress outlasts every loud threat. Silence unsettles an enemy more than insults ever will, because when you do not react, they are forced to confront their own insecurity. A disciplined life is the sharpest weapon you can carry, because it cuts through excuses, distractions, and the illusions your enemies try to create. Do not seek revenge, seek improvement, because growth is the quiet victory that leaves your enemies behind without explanation. The moment you stop trying to defeat others and start perfecting yourself, you rise above conflict and become a force that cannot be challenged. An enemy studies your reactions, but when you remove emotion from your response, you remove the map they hoped to use against you. True power lies in restraint, because only a controlled warrior can decide when to act and when to let silence do the damage. When you master patience, time itself becomes your ally, slowly exposing the weakness of every enemy who rushed ahead without discipline. The calm mind moves faster than the angry one, because clarity has no weight and fear has no balance. Your enemies fall not when you confront them, but when you outgrow the battlefield they are still fighting on. The strongest attack is preparation, because the enemy who waits for chaos is defeated by the warrior who plans in silence. Control your breath, control your thoughts, and you control the outcome, because the mind always leads the body. An enemy can challenge your strength, but only you can surrender your discipline. And discipline should never be negotiable. Do not announce your intentions. Let your results introduce you, because silence builds curiosity, and success ends the conversation. The warrior who remains calm under pressure turns every obstacle into training and every enemy into a lesson. Your enemies hope you will break emotionally before they ever confront you physically. So emotional control becomes your first victory. Move with purpose, speak with restraint, and act with precision, because unnecessary noise reveals weakness. When your life is aligned with discipline and clarity, even your enemies become reminders of how far you have risen. Fear clouds judgment, but calm sharpens instinct, and instinct, guided by training, is unstoppable. The greatest revenge is becoming so focused on your path that the enemy no longer exists in your mind. An enemy's power fades when you stop giving them attention, because attention is the fuel that keeps conflict alive. Mastery is silent, effortless, and composed, while ego is loud, tense, and constantly seeking validation. The warrior who wins internally never feels the need to fight externally unless absolutely necessary. Let your habits do the talking, because discipline repeated daily defeats talent driven by emotion. Enemies thrive on reaction, but discipline thrives on control, and control always wins the long fight. When your mind is trained, even stillness becomes movement, and silence becomes strategy. Do not rush to confront your enemies, because time will expose them if your discipline remains consistent. The strongest stance is balance, because the unbalanced warrior falls even without being struck. An enemy can attack your body, but only you can allow them access to your confidence. Silence creates pressure. Patience creates confusion, and discipline delivers victory without violence. Train until your actions no longer require thought, because instinct refined by discipline is faster than fear. The one who controls his reactions controls the battlefield, even when no battlefield is visible. A calm warrior sees openings that an angry fighter never notices. Your enemies cannot defeat you if your purpose is stronger than their intentions. Victory is not in domination, but in remaining unshaken when others are desperate for control.